Hi everyone. So now we're up to part 22 of what happened to me when I got government housing. It's been a long time since I've been able to take some photos of myself because of a skin condition that I have and because I've been so sick over the past few years. But I took this photo yesterday, so I wanted to put it up just to give everyone the most recent photo of me. So previously, I mentioned that I had to make an application for my daughter to be on the intervention order that I had against the respondent, or more accurately, I had to get her back on there because when I first made the application, I did put both her name and my name on it initially. Um, so I had to go back to court again because the judge at the intervention order hearing had actually taken her off the order without explaining why. And on the 8th of the 6th, 2016, I was back at the Melbourne Magistrates Court for a directions hearing. The respondent's lawyer had requested that the court change the hearing to a mention because he could not attend court. However, the respondent was there. And, as I've said before, I have no idea why he was there or what possible reason he could have for not wanting my daughter on the order. Anyway, the judge who was hearing my application, which I still had to go through, even though it wasn't going to be an actual hearing because the respondent's lawyer wasn't there, that judge ordered that the respondent and I attend a meeting with the dispute settlement mediation team, which was bizarre, obviously, and really upsetting for me and strange, but as I've said 100 times, everything that was happening to me was strange. I thought it was outrageous, but the judge wouldn't tolerate my objections. The meeting was held on that day, and I had to wait in the courthouse to attend that meeting. But luckily, I wasn't in the same room as a respondent because he had a separate meeting. I don't know why I was forced to go through a dispute settlement meeting. It wasn't that I had a dispute with the respondent, it was that he had assaulted me and I wanted an intervention order against him. It was that simple. I don't see how that's a dispute. I mean, being assaulted doesn't mean you're in dispute with someone, it means that, you're in danger. I don't know how you can call, being assaulted and wanting an order a dispute, and I don't know why I would be expected to resolve being assaulted. I mean, the idea of these dispute settlement things was that you're resolving some sort of difference, and being on the receiving end of threats and someone driving a car into you and someone trying to punch you and someone dumping water on you and verbally abusing you is not something that can be resolved. I was offended beyond belief. I think that the judge should have explained why they thought a series of assaults was something that could be resolved. I would also like an explanation about why this man was allowed to stop me from protecting my daughter. My daughter was with me when the respondent drove his van into us, and she clearly needed protection from him in the same way that I did. And I can't think of any reason why he could justify stopping me from having her on the same order that I had against him. It was absurd and a perfect example of the way I was treated by all levels of the justice system. People seem to believe just about anything that was said about me without question, and at the same time, they believed nothing that I said, and I was powerless because of it. The respondent was imposing himself on my life, and I had no association with him. I had to spend all this time and all this money just for no reason whatsoever. I can't see why the respondent would hire a lawyer to stop me from having my daughter on the order. It made no sense and it made me feel sick when I thought about it. After the meeting with the dispute settlement mediation team, I had to go back into the courtroom and wait for my case to be heard again. And when it was heard, the judge set a date for the directions hearing, and I was able to leave the courthouse. I actually waited in the waiting area for the respondent to leave, and then I waited some time before I left and went home. I had no idea what to do. I had no one to help me, and I don't have any family in Melbourne, and I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't know what to say to my daughter, but I had to keep her up to date with the facts so she knew what was going on, so I could explain to her why I was doing some of the things that I was doing, like, why I didn't let her go to many places and so on. I resented having to explain those things to my daughter, and rightfully so. I didn't like the respondent, and I had never made friends with him, and I would never allow my daughter to associate with him in any way, but he had a huge influence over our life. And the way I saw it, it was the prejudices and the lack of professionalism of some people in the justice system, which was allowing him to do that to me. In some ways, it was like the respondent and the people working in different areas of the justice system were the same. I was seeing things in the justice system that I don't think many people see. I saw the way that I was treated, and I saw that it was wrong. I saw the way my daughter was treated, and that was wrong. Every time I looked at what was happening to me, it got clearer that all the people involved had the same mentality and the same attitude, and it made me feel like I was trapped, and I felt like I was in a lot of danger.